Anxiety. That monster that consumes us from within, robbing us of peace and joy. But what if I told you that 2,000 years ago, Stoic philosophers already had the key to controlling it? We face our own anxieties and discover that ancient Stoic techniques are surprisingly effective today. In this video, I'm going to share 10 powerful strategies that the Stoics used to overcome anxiety. Strategies that have helped me through difficult times and that can also change your life. From Marcus Aurelius to modern leaders, these techniques have proven their worth throughout the centuries. Ready for a journey of self-discovery and mental control? Let's dive together into the world of Stoicism and learn to overcome anxiety once and for all. Subscribe to our channel and leave your like. That small gesture helps me immensely. Number 1. Focus on small achievements. Don't underestimate the power of small actions. Often, what seems insignificant is actually fundamental to progress. Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, also emphasized the importance of small steps, stating that happiness is built gradually. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic thinkers, reminds us that our life is composed of continuous actions performed one by one. Nothing can stop this process. When faced with a goal that seems unattainable, don't get discouraged. Instead of focusing on the grandeur of the goal, concentrate on the task right in front of you. Follow Marcus Aurelius's advice and treat each action as if it were the last and only one you must perform. Each small task completed is a step toward your larger goal. Remember, the sum of small actions creates great results. It is through each small advance, day by day, that you achieve your goals. Keep moving forward one step at a time and trust the process. Number 2, value the present. In times of uncertainty and difficulties, it is essential to give an essential teaching: the value of gratitude. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic thinkers, invites us to reflect on the fortune of simply being alive. Despite the adversities that may surround us, life itself is an invaluable gift. Ignoring this fact or becoming bitter in the face of challenges is a way of not appreciating the present we have received. Imagine waking up one ordinary morning, the sun rising on the horizon, the birds singing in the distance. At that moment of tranquility, you realize the magnitude of the simple act of breathing, of feeling your heart beating. It is in that simplicity that the true beauty of existence resides, a gift that often goes unnoticed amid the daily hustle. When we allow ourselves to feel that deep gratitude, something inside us transforms, and the world around us takes on new colors and meanings. Often, we are influenced by people and circumstances that can drag us into a state of cynicism or discontent. Whether through constant pessimism or endless criticism, these negative factors can cloud our vision of the value of life. However, Stoic philosophy teaches us to focus on what is within our reach, our own attitudes and perspectives. Think of an abandoned garden invaded by weeds and wilted flowers. Like that garden, our mind can become a fertile ground for negative thoughts if we do not care for it. But with dedication and constant practice, we can pull out the weeds of pessimism and plant the seeds of gratitude. Each positive thought, each moment of appreciation, is like a small flower blooming in our inner garden, gradually transforming the landscape of our life. We cannot choose the moment we live in or the situation we find ourselves in, but we can decide how we react to it. The practice of gratitude involves recognizing the beauty and opportunity present in each moment, even if the world around us is in chaos. That is the strength of gratitude. It anchors us in the present, reminding us that even in the storms of life, there is always something to be grateful for. Therefore, instead of letting negative influences drag us into despair, we must cultivate a mindset of gratitude. Accept life as it is and value each moment. Every sunrise, every sunset, every heartbeat. Be grateful for breathing, seeing, hearing, and thinking, no matter how small. Be thankful for all the blessings in your life. Number 3, free your mind. Observe without judging. Marcus Aurelius, with his wisdom, teaches us that it is not always necessary to have an opinion on everything. You don't have to have an opinion on this. This wisdom constantly accompanies me. It's a relief to realize that it's not necessary to cling to an opinion on every aspect of life. We can simply observe things as they are, without labeling them as good or bad, just or unjust. Sometimes the best path is to treat events and situations as neutral information. Imagine you are walking along a winding path where each curve represents a new challenge or situation. Instead of judging every stone on the path, you simply observe them, acknowledging their existence without attributing a positive or negative value to them. This practice frees your mind from the constant burden of having to evaluate and categorize everything around you. Over time, you realize that this approach not only alleviates mental stress, but also opens up space for a deeper and more compassionate understanding of the world around you. Often, we are influenced by people who insist on imposing their own visions and judgments. These individuals can make us believe that every little detail needs an opinion, which can be mentally exhausting and harmful. To face this pressure, it is crucial to develop the ability to observe without judging, recognizing the nature of events without allowing others' opinions to affect us. Think of a rushing river where others' opinions are like stones thrown into the water, creating ripples that can disturb its surface. By practicing the art of non-opinion, you become the water that flows gently around these stones without being affected by them. This skill not only preserves your inner peace, but also allows you to navigate the complexities of social life with more grace and wisdom. You begin to realize that by not rushing to form opinions, a valuable space opens up for understanding and empathy. It is not necessary to get lost in analysis and judgments. Instead, we can simply accept the nature of things as they are. Number 4, free yourself from the influence of others' opinions to achieve serenity. As Marcus Aurelius teaches us, it is essential to free yourself from the worry of what others think or say about you. True inner peace arises when you focus exclusively on your own actions and decisions, without allowing external opinions to divert you. By adopting this mindset, you become less vulnerable to criticism and more focused on what truly matters, the integrity of your own attitudes and words. Number 4, free yourself from the influence of others' opinions to achieve serenity. As Marcus Aurelius teaches us, it is essential to free yourself from the worry of what others think or say about you. True inner peace arises when you focus exclusively on your own actions and decisions, without allowing external opinions to divert you. By adopting this mindset, you become less vulnerable to criticism and more focused on what truly matters, the integrity of your own attitudes and words. We live in a world full of voices and opinions, some of them filled with criticism or judgments. Among these negative influences may be people who constantly seek to belittle others to elevate themselves, or those who have their own agendas and interests. However, the key is to recognize that these opinions are reflections of others' insecurities and challenges, not a measure of your own worth. To handle these influences, start by cultivating a clear awareness of what you consider right and just. Practice self-reflection and establish your own standards of behavior based on ethics and reason. By staying focused on your own path, you protect yourself from the corrosive influence of others' opinions. Following Marcus Aurelius' advice means turning your inner peace into something unbreakable by keeping your attention on what you can control, your own actions and thoughts. When you free yourself from the need for external validation, you find a source of serenity that does not depend on others' recognition or approval. Thus, you walk a path of true autonomy and tranquility. Number 5, accept and understand your emotions. The principles of Stoicism do not promote the suppression of emotions, but their analysis and understanding. The Stoics, as we know, did not merely hide their emotions, they explored them deeply. Socrates, for example, used constant questioning to explore the nature of emotions, while Seneca chose to write letters to Lucilius, a practice that allowed him to examine his feelings more closely. Marcus Aurelius also contributed valuable reflections that have endured over time. The Stoics did not ignore their emotions. They faced them directly, analyzing and reflecting on their origins and impacts. The Stoic approach to emotions is similar to that of a farmer who observes and tends the land instead of simply waiting for the harvest to grow on its own. Ignoring emotions is like postponing a financial problem. It may seem like there's no rush, but the debt will grow over time, accumulating interest and becoming more difficult to manage. Similarly, if you neglect your emotions, they will accumulate and could become an even greater burden in the future. To follow the Stoic path, you must face your emotions with courage and discernment. Instead of simply setting them aside, examine the causes and effects of these feelings and seek to understand what they reveal about you and your circumstances. This process is not about avoiding pain or difficulty, but embracing the opportunity to grow from them. Don't let emotions dominate you. Confront them to understand them, transforming them into a source of self-knowledge and personal development. Therefore, instead of suppressing your emotions, allow yourself the opportunity to explore and understand them. As Seneca teaches us, it is by facing emotions head-on that you truly learn to control and shape them. With an open mind and a sincere heart, you can achieve a deeper understanding of yourself and greater inner peace. Number 6, free yourself from imaginary worries. Epictetus teaches us that we are often consumed by worries that only exist in our minds. These worries are an unnecessary burden we carry, and many times what we fear never actually happens. Marcus Aurelius expressed that most of his anxieties never materialized. What he and Epictetus remind us of is that much of human suffering is rooted in imaginary anxieties and fears, not in concrete reality. Imagine for a moment a young woman named Sophia, whose dreams were constantly stifled by the fear of failure. She spent sleepless nights tormented by catastrophic scenarios her mind created. Every new challenge seemed like an insurmountable mountain, and Sophia found herself paralyzed, unable to take the first step. Her days were a constant battle against invisible enemies, created by her own fertile imagination. But a chance encounter with the words of Epictetus would change everything, planting the seed of an inner revolution that would transform her life forever. In practice, this means that you must focus on the present. We cannot foresee or control all future events, and even if we try, most of our worries do not materialize. What is within our control is how we live in the now. The ability to face adversities and uncertainties lies in our ability to focus on the present moment and act consciously and balanced. Sophia began practicing this philosophy daily, facing her fears one by one. She discovered that most of the catastrophes she imagined were just illusions, mirages created by her anxious mind. Little by little, she learned to distinguish between real and fanciful worries. Each small victory over her unfounded fears was a step toward freedom. Sophia realized that by focusing on the present, her decisions became clearer and her actions more effective. The weight of the what-ifs began to dissipate, replaced by the lightness of the now. Do not suffer for imaginary problems, instead of getting lost in what might happen. Dedicate your energy to what is within your reach today. Stay anchored in the present reality, where your actions and decisions truly matter. Number 7, it is your decision to feel wronged. The principles of Stoic philosophy teach us that the feeling of being wronged is our choice, not something imposed from outside. According to the Stoics, it doesn't matter what people say or do. The real impact of their actions lies in our own decision on how to react to them. The emotional wound only occurs when we allow others' behavior to affect us deeply. Let's think about how we interact with others. Harsh criticisms, personal attacks, or injustices may seem like they affect us directly. But from a Stoic perspective, those actions only have the power we grant them. Remember this: no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. This means that our emotional response to those actions is entirely our decision. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, remind us to avoid the desire to feel wronged. According to him, our strength lies in the ability to control our emotions and interpret events in a way that strengthens us rather than weakens us. When we allow ourselves to feel wronged, we are surrendering control that is not ours to give. Our response must be one of discernment and resistance. To deal with people who try to influence us negatively, the Stoic strategy is to maintain a clear view of what is truly under our control. How we choose to interpret others' actions and our attitude toward them are determining factors. Instead of clinging to the feeling of injustice, what if we focus on how we can respond with dignity and wisdom? We control our emotions, our opinions, the story we tell ourselves about what happened. That's why the Stoics said that you are complicit when you feel wronged. In the end, true emotional freedom comes from recognizing that the choice to feel wronged is ours. As the Stoics teach us, by changing our perspective and maintaining control over our reactions, we can find inner peace and resilience in the face of adversity. Number 8, the importance of walking for mental clarity. Imagine being trapped in a tangle of confusing thoughts, anxiety, and stress. The world around you seems to spin at a frantic pace, and you feel lost without direction. It is at that moment that we discover a simple but profoundly transformative truth. Every day, we must set aside time to walk. The experience is not just about physical exercise, but about the mental pause that being outdoors provides. Observing nature and sharing that moment with yourself is essential for our balance. As your feet touch the ground, step by step, you begin to feel a subtle but powerful change. The best ideas arise when we are in motion. It is as if the act of walking unlocks a secret source of creativity and clarity in our minds. Seneca, one of the great Stoics, also emphasized the importance of allowing the mind to wander during a walk. He compared an unrested mind to a field that is not cultivated, becoming unproductive. As we walk, worries that once seemed like insurmountable mountains begin to reveal themselves as small, manageable obstacles. The walk becomes a journey of self-discovery, where each step brings us closer to our true essence. It is a way to disconnect from the demands and distractions of daily life. In a world where we are constantly bombarded by information and demands, that moment of disconnection is like an oasis in the midst of chaos. We must leave the phone and commitments behind and focus on the present. Don't see it only as physical exercise, but as mental exercise as well. Regardless of the place, whether it's a parking lot or a beautiful beach, walking is an indispensable ritual. A simple sunset becomes a spectacle of colors that fills our soul with hope and renewal. We encourage you to adopt this practice because the benefits go beyond physical activity, providing true mental renewal. At first, it may seem difficult to find time or motivation to walk regularly, but as you persevere, something extraordinary happens. The walks become a refuge, a sanctuary where you can reconnect with yourself and with the world around you. Number 9, cultivate a journal. It is common for people to wonder about the best way to start keeping a journal, and the most effective answer is simply to start writing. There is no single or perfect method. It can be on your mobile device, in any notebook, or even in the margins of a to-do list. What's important is establishing the habit of writing. Ideally, it would have been better to have started this practice a long time ago, but the right moment to start is always the present. Therefore, if you want to integrate journaling into your life, take the first step right now. The blank pages in front of you are an invitation to self-knowledge, a fertile ground where your ideas can bloom freely. Don't underestimate the transformative power of dedicating a few minutes each day to dialogue with yourself through writing. The practice of keeping a journal is not just a tool for reflecting on daily life, but a path to self-discovery. Sometimes external influences, like the opinions of people who do not understand the importance of this practice or who are skeptical of its value, can be discouraging. However, instead of allowing these voices to dishearten you, remember the Stoic principles that emphasize the importance of self-discipline and inner exploration. The journey of self-discovery requires a practical and continuous approach, and journaling can be a valuable support in this process. Facing the blank page, you confront your most intimate truths, shedding the masks we often wear in the external world. It is in this sacred space that you can be honest with yourself, confront fears, celebrate victories, and plan the future with clarity. The journal becomes a silent confidant, a mirror of the soul that reflects not only who you are, but who you are becoming. In it, you can trace the evolution of your thoughts, observe behavior patterns, and over time, witness your own personal growth. Marcus Aurelius kept a journal known today as Meditations. He wrote regularly to reflect on his thoughts, actions, and the principles by which he lived. This journal was not intended for publication, but was a personal tool for self-knowledge and the continuous practice of his virtues. In summary, the time to start is always now. Embrace this practice with all your being. Allow yourself to be vulnerable on the pages of your journal and watch as your relationship with yourself and the world around you gradually transforms in profound and unexpected ways. Number 10, choosing the side that supports you. On our journey through life, we face numerous challenges, and how we face them can define who we become. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic masters, offers us a valuable lesson by talking about how every circumstance can be seen in two different ways. He teaches us that every situation has two sides, one that strengthens us and another that weakens us. The choice of which side to focus on depends entirely on us. Imagine standing before an abyss with two paths ahead of you, one leading to a dark valley of self-pity and victimization, while the other leads to a steep mountain filled with opportunities for growth. Epictetus invites us to choose the more difficult path, the one that challenges us but also elevates us. It is a choice we make in every moment, in every obstacle that life presents to us, and it is this choice that shapes our character, our resilience, and our destiny. Imagine facing a difficulty caused by someone close to you, perhaps a sibling. You could easily fall into the temptation of seeing yourself as a victim, harboring resentment and cultivating anger. However, Epictetus invites us to consider a different perspective. This is my only brother. I will practice forgiveness, patience, and use this experience to become a better person. By opting for this perspective, you choose the side that supports growth and resilience. It's like standing before a magic mirror capable of reflecting not just your image, but also your soul. On one side, you see a bitter, resentful version of yourself, consumed by bitterness. On the other, a wiser, more compassionate, and stronger version. The choice is yours. By choosing forgiveness and understanding, you not only free the other person, but primarily yourself. Epictetus does not offer this advice from a place of privilege. Born a slave in Rome, he knew oppression and adversity intimately. Yet he did not allow his condition to dictate his spirit. On the contrary, he saw in slavery an opportunity for learning, a test that prepared him for something greater. Instead of lamenting, he faced his challenges like an Olympic athlete training for the most difficult competition of his life. Imagine the cold nights, the hard work, the constant humiliation that Epictetus had to face. Many would have succumbed to despair, letting their circumstances define them. But not Epictetus. He transformed his chains into weights for his mind and spirit. Every insult, every deprivation, every injustice became an opportunity to practice virtue, to strengthen his resolve. He demonstrated that true freedom does not depend on external circumstances, but on the inner strength we cultivate. So when you face obstacles, reflect on how you choose to confront them. Every difficult situation can be an opportunity to become stronger, to practice the Stoic virtues of patience, courage, and wisdom. Instead of focusing on what can bring you down, choose the side that supports you, the weight that lifts you up. In the end, it is this choice that will determine whether you emerge stronger or weaker from any situation.